Howdy do. So I just want to come on here and have a little chat, little conversation. So whenever I first started going down a God path, it wasn't because I wanted to serve God, really. It was really because I found a woman that I loved. And how this ended up digressing was I had already kind of turned my back on God, but then I found this love. Then it was like, oh, whoa. Or at least I thought I had turned my back on God. I'd turned my back on the preconceived notion of what I believed God represented or who he was. And then once I found this woman and this love, it was like, oh shit, that might be this whole other thing. And I didn't draw that conclusion right away, but it actually took a long time of trying to chase the woman. But as other people on this app have realized, when you fall in love with a woman, it's not ready to fall back in love with you, and you're not ready for her, then it just becomes this chasing thing where she moves the goalposts and you can't ever catch them, and so on and so forth. So ultimately, you realize you can't ever catch a woman that's, been sold out, well, to Satan. Yeah, that's the nature of the whole thing, right? It's like true love can't really exist on the planet, and God can't be here until Eve decides that she wants true love, right? Well, what is true love? Well, it's the only thing that is love, is truth, right? But the society that we have is built off of lies, right? When you have $38 trillion worth of debt that doesn't exist, and the only means of paying that debt back is creation of new loans and creation of more debt, you have a fundamentally energetically inefficient system of trade, which is ultimately how love is exchanged between human beings. So what we're talking about is women's love is bought and sold on the market. I mean, that's what the banks do, is they hold all of Eve's creative energy with some sort of ambiguity attached to it. Whatever Eve hasn't nailed down, they, as far as being good, the banks hold on to the rest of it, right? Men are supposed to keep the framework of God's laws and love and truth, right? But the world that we live in has been, obviously taken over by Satan and satanic people who have satanic agendas. So there's like a million things to extrapolate on here, but let me just start by saying that money is definitely one of the mechanisms that Satan uses to control not just men, but also women. Before I go in depth even further, what I would like to say is that what makes life good is the experience, right? However, what Satan does is he gets you to give away pieces of your integrity to keep having a good time, right? So that's kind of the nature of the dollar lie, right? It just gives you tickets into the feminine consciousness. Sometimes I call the dollars Illuminati fun coupons. But ultimately, you know, it's very much a slavery system. It's spiritual slavery system. It keeps people in business, right? Well, what's the root word of business? It's busy, right? They're people doing busy work, the same way that a teacher might give students busy work, just shut them up for a while. Well, the truth of the matter is like, you know, well, so here I'm going to explain this. Um, so you've got real Christianity, which is truth, whole truth, nothing but the whole. Excuse me, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God, right? That's true Christianity, right? So which exposes wicked shit like all of Satan's mechanisms of control, right? That's true Christianity. Now what we've got going is this false version of Christianity. So back in I guess 100 ish AC, after Christ, I guess. I guess that's what AC stands for. Uh, Somewhere in that ballpark, Rome, they couldn't kill Christianity, right? They couldn't kill real Christians. They killed them, but they couldn't like kill what Christ left, right? They couldn't kill his spirit. So what the synagogue of Satan did was they got in bed with Rome and ultimately created what we now know as somewhere between Gnosticism and secular religion, i.e., the Vatican. So this all ties back in to everything, really. Our politicians, our school systems, our police force, our judicial system, like literally everything. So what I'm getting at here is true Christianity means being the best Adam that you can be to lead Eve, the woman or the women, because they're all the same. All women are the exact same. They all just want to know that they're loved. That's it. This is like the very nature of Eve to her core. She just wants to make sure that she is loved and represented. So like understanding the feminine is such an important part of being a Christian, really. But this is so difficult in this money-driven world where you have to go out and make money every single day, right? Anyway, let me digress this a little bit further. Ultimately, what will crush Satan, the devil, this ethereal snake that lives within the human consciousness, is God's love reaccumulated back into God's people. And so the kingdom of God is really just the group of people in the network that exists inside all of us, the original social network of people that actually love each other, related back to their real, authentic selves, right? So let me just talk about kind of some of Satan's mechanisms of divisive control that allow him and all of his lie and all of the liars to keep on going. Number one, cell phones. If you turn your iPhone on the backside, what do you see? An Apple with a bite taken out, right? So it's very much like a digital lie, this very thing that you're watching this video on. So what what this digital lie kind of does to God's love in a large way is it gives you an experience of, you feel a lot of this like divine energy substance in your being, in your temple, right? But there's no real beauty accumulated into it. It just ends up being cold and sharp and not fully encompassing of all of the good things. God, there's so much here. Yeah. There might be a part 2 in a little bit, but I gotta I gotta digest all this. And, yeah. Anyway, I guess to close this thing out, Satan's gonna keep lying, right? But it's up to us if we like. Here's the deal: if you want to live forever, you have to take it serious, right? If we're not taking it serious, what are we really doing? You know what I mean? What are we working for? Like that's what we have to like ask ourselves at the during our day. Like, what are we doing? Like, what's the point of all of this, right? And so like energy, I think, will ultimately end up dictating everything. And because I mean that was kind of how it worked out for me. Was I could not keep doing what I was doing in my life leading up to the moments where I broke down in tears in my closet, begging God to forgive me for all the assholery that I had committed. It was an energetic, like, sledgehammer that whacked me in the face, where I was like, all right, well, I'm going to have to change my MO here, because this ain't working no more. And so I think everybody will probably come to that same conclusion. God sits people down sometimes with lightning from the sky, just to get your attention. I mean, just to give you an example, I treated my friends exactly what they gaslighted me into, meaning I was gaslighted into Satanism. So whenever I started behaving satanically because of the lies of my own friends, it was like a bluff that I was calling, like, you guys say fuck it, all right, I'll fuck it harder. So stop gaslighting your friends, dumbasses. Tell them the truth. Tell each other the truth. Stop being a bunch of pussies. Excuse my language, but stop. Like, it takes bravery to tell the truth. It does. It takes bravery to be authentic. It takes bravery to do anything real or worthwhile. I mean, it takes bravery to be your authentic self. It's like, but here's what I've done for so many people is I've given so many people the keys to power that can be used in a positive way. Meaning, when you look at human behavior at its very core, people will always go with the path of least resistance, right? Like, this is scientific and at its very basis. This is just human behavior. Humans will always take the path of least resistance. So I guess what I'm saying is I've chosen the hard route, right? so as to provide an easy route for other people who want to do the right thing. Just the same way that Jesus Christ took the hard route so we could take an easier route to get to the same place. So the kingdom of God and godliness and love and truth will all accumulate to a worldwide experience of the order of the heavens being brought to the earth. Okay, which what we're talking about is when you like bring this into what we know to be true in a scientific way, what is observable in the universe is when you look at humans, and you look at our cells, they're not just clumps of cells, they're highly organized, right? They have an order to those cells. So the same way, when you look at the world, the chaos that exists in this world is crazy. And so then you've got this whole New World Order thing that's perpetuated by the Freemasons, right? All of this is Satan's lie, right? It's a false version of the heavenly order, right? It's just one more layer to Satan's lie of the onion that is Satan, because that bitch will make you cry. But I guess what I'm saying to really, really nail this home is Satan at his core is a liar. He's a rapist and a liar. And everybody that sides with him is him. So, and will receive the same consequences as him. So what I'm trying to say to you is I think there's very much this underground thing of oh, fuck the New World Order, and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna fall for this Christianity trap into the New World Order. Well, I got news for you. They have to coexist, right? It's the wheat and the weeds. It's everything that Jesus talked about. He says that everybody has to grow together because we've all been trapped in this satanic puzzle for so long that everybody holds different pieces of the puzzle. Everybody holds different keys. We've all got different responsibilities and roles to play in the puzzle of humanity to bring us back to perfection, okay? So make no mistake, there is a false Christianity, but this does not take away from the true spiritual Christianity that our monetary system hijacks from us. So this one goes out to the bankers. You guys need to be real honest and truthful about what you're representing and the role that you play on this planet, okay? Do not be fooled, or I'll quote the Bible, do not be misled. Bad association spoils useful habits. The higher up within this money world that you go, the more lies you find. My great uncle was the president of the Federal Reserve branch of Houston, Texas in the 90s, and he owned a mortgage bank called Mortgage and Trust. I have millions of dollars that were his, but you don't just inherit money, you inherit the problems that come with all of the money. Whenever you sell mortgages and you set the mortgage rates, you are a massive participant in the lie of money, which is the slavery system. So I hold the keys to the Federal Reserve and the entire banking system, the central banking system, because I was dealt the hand, right? So I've spent the last 3 years of my life educating the entirety of Texas on the lie of our monetary system, which up until about 4 years ago nobody was even talking about it. So you're welcome. Yeah, so again, women at their core, they just want to know that they're loved. That's it. And then you've got, obviously we've got like the satanic chicks and the chicks that have fallen into Satan's traps and, have kind of gone down the rabbit holes of whatever. Okay, so here's what I want to. This is what I want to elaborate on. Is a lot of times I think women, they want like the energetic stability that the banking system provides, and that's all fine and dandy, right? But here's Satan's biggest trick is I know what it's like to be on the bottom, right? I know I've been in. Here. Let me fix this. I've been in the underworld. I've been in Satan's dark, deep, nasty underworld. I've lived in trap houses. I've smoked all the drugs. I've done everything. I know the deep, hardcore underground Satanists. I think for a lot of people and a lot of women, they find safety within the banking system because it energetically stops certain things, right? But just know that the banking system, if you put your power and you put your trust there, there's wicked people at the top, just at the same level of wickedness, if not more, is in the banking system. So basically what I'm saying to you is, yes, there's very much an ugly underground world of Satanists but they abuse the banking system too, make no mistake. But it's all one big giant lie, right? It's Satan, right? So moving forward, if we want to crush Satan, if we want to kill him, if we want to follow Christ, tell the truth all the time, 365, 7 days a week. Have the conversations that you need to have. Men need to put down their masculine power into the feminine heart. That means you got to learn how to be daddy, but you can't be daddy if women don't trust you, right? If you don't tell women the truth, they're not going to give you their power, right? So men should be the framework of truth, and women should real time figure out who's telling them the truth and who's lying. This is kind of the recipe for Christianity, is working out truth, right? And so like you've got this whole group of politicians and bank people who are just abusing the shit out of this whole ambiguity of everything. Meanwhile, the people who are genuinely following Christ to the best of their ability are lied about consistently. But this thing that we're building as true Christians all across the planet is undeniable and unstoppable. So the liars will continue to lie throughout the entirety of the foreseeable future. But the people who continue to suffer through these wicked spiritual attacks will make it through to the other side. We'll gain our eternal life, and we will claim our earth back from Satan and all of his wicked people that continue to rape and pillage our societies. So on that note, I'm going to eat a little lunch. I love everybody. Sometimes I say stupid things that I don't mean, but as is found in our normal human logic, it's all about the intent. Everything is about intent. If your intentions are shit, you're going to get treated like shit. But if your intentions are good, people will ultimately see that, right? People boil things down. It's a distillation process, right? This is the distillation of truth that's happening, right? You go from a mash to a spirit. Well, that's where we're at. We're in the mash phase, but let's put all this mash into the still so we can get some spirit. Peace.